On the slopes of the Amatola Mountains, overlooking the rivers and plains of the Tayumi Valley, the Eastern Cape village of Hogsback attracts tourists from far and wide with its rustic charm and beautiful sights. Thought to have drawn its name from the three ridges resembling the bristles on a wild hog's back, this little village lies surrounded by forests, waterfalls, and all-round natural beauty.
The people are friendly, the atmosphere is relaxed, and the views are nothing short of breathtaking. To many, the village of Hogsback could be considered the epitome of peaceful country living. But underneath this exterior lies an issue that remains unresolved for more than 15 years. You see, most of the people that live in Hogsback don't actually have a place to call their home.
Derek Jossi has lived in Hogsback all his life. Neither Derek nor any family member before him have ever owned land. Not much has changed. 15 years later, no formal development settlement has been established, despite land being expropriated by the government for low-cost housing in 1994. Therefore, Derek is currently living illegally in an informal settlement.
This area is too small. We are only just sticking it so that you can only have a roof over your head, like it's raining now. What else can I do? But it's not suitable for anything.
The landless community feel they are being discriminated against on the basis of race.
But all whites here, they got a place. They got a place. If we die, no place for buried here. They send it out us down to the village.
At the beginning, for example, most of the white people here doesn't want the township. They are making Hogsback a only white area. They think it's their island. So, because if there is a township there will be robberies and it will degrade the value of their properties.
Although some white residents initially objected to the housing development, the majority seem to have the landless community's interests at heart.
What you want to do, you want to uplift them. You want to make them better off so that they can go into a place that will really work, and you want to let them have homes and you want to let them be warm, but it's an opportunity to uplift the whole socio-economic side of things as well. So the black people and their development is fundamental to, I'm sure, all of our approach. And if only they would listen and do things to make it work, they would uplift the community. And these poor people that live around here, gee, all of us, I'm sure, want them to be better off. But if we're going to do it, let's do it properly. Let's make it work.
The Hogsback Village Association aims to represent the interests of all Hogsback residents. Ian Weir says there's more to the situation than meets the eye.
Because this thing's taken so long, a lot of new parties have entered the fray, and with their different opinions. None of them who have any particular reason to be in it, in the sense that they don't need a house. Apart from the fact that it would be important to stress that one of the biggest delays in this has been just a hopeless administration of the process.
This is what has happened over the last 15 years. Plaatjieskraal was the initial site approved by the Department of Water Affairs and Forestry for the proposed low-cost housing settlement. The site was partially developed and is now occupied by only forestry workers. Although not uninhabitable, the site was rejected by the housing beneficiaries. It was too small and too wet. A full environmental scoping report was never done, but the municipality claims that the site was also rejected due to floodlines and an overflowing septic tank. Upon investigation, there are clear marsh areas which indicate possible floodlines, but the areas are small. The septic tank also seems to be a considerable distance from the site. The site was changed from Plaatjieskraal to Bold Point, a move which some Hogsback residents feel will inevitably hamper the development even further.
There's no doubt about it that if politics have entered the fray, it's certainly not from our side, because this was cut and dried, and they would have, as Gordon said, they would have had a housing development by now. Somewhere along the line, someone came in and said, we don't want it down there. And so they focused on Bold Point. The problem with Bold Point, if it goes ahead there, it will be an environmental disaster.
The last devastating fire in Hogsback came from Bold Point.
Fire problem is a major problem. We had a fire that swept through Hogsback here on the 28th of August 2001. We were fortunate that Hogsback didn't go. There are a lot of trees in Hogsback, you've seen it yourself. Most of the employment in Hogsback is in forestry. If the forest goes, the employment goes.
Now, despite the underlying racial tension, the issue at hand is far more complex than just black versus white. Constitutionally, every citizen of the Republic of South Africa is entitled to adequate housing. Now, it's not that there's a shortage of land in Hogsback, it's just that the land is often put to other uses. Hogsback is surrounded by plantations such as these.
The Amatoli Forestry Company employed the majority of the black community in Hogsback. Fire at Bold Point would cost them decades of timber crop. They raised the first official grievances against the Bold Point settlement on the grounds of fire hazard. The AFC refused to speak on camera, but stated that a fire risk assessment must be done before any development can proceed. Sarah Sefton, the legal representative of the beneficiary, suggests that the grievances put forward by the AFC will inevitably lengthen the process.
We're faced with a predicament where we've got Amatola Forest Company. They are multi-billion rand industry. They say they've got a lot to lose. They've got a lot of money to spend, and they can tie this process up for a long time. They have also indicated their intention to review the MEC's authorization to grant for 200 houses to be built there. That means that they are now going to institute proceedings in the High Court in Grahamstown to have the MEC's authorization set aside.
Hogsback falls under the Nkonkobe municipality. The municipalities say they realize the process has taken long, but they are hoping to resolve the issue as soon as possible.
We will not wait for the communities to move on their own to Bold Point, but I think at this given moment we are engaging politicians to have as well an intervention as to speaking people out, because people have their mindset that they've waited so much and it's not cracking out. But at the same time, we understand that the processes, they take much longer, but we want to do it the right way, where it will not in the long run end up demolishing the houses simply because we were not supposed to, or we understand. We're trying to avoid making a situation out of, frustration and all those things. But we'll try to talk with people out, using our politicians as well.
Regardless of the municipality's good intention, people need homes. Ntombesizwe Mafika was tired of waiting and took matters into her own hands.
They were keeping promising that we are going to have the RDP houses. They're going to do the RDP houses for us. And I did decided that, okay. We got our Hogsback land, that means Hogsback Commonage land. Let me go and build this bungalow house here.
Those without land are more than just residents. They are in fact the working force behind Hogsback's economy. But recent legal developments prove that what should have been a simple process has gone on for far too long. The road to Bold Point has been a hard one, but the journey is far from over.
Ntombesizwe and the other families at Bold Point might have to walk far for water and endure bad living conditions, but at least they've taken a stand. People like Derek, on the other hand, still wait and hope.
The attitude of the government is the most that is hitting us. It doesn't care about us anymore. They only care about us when we are going for elections. Elections are over now. It's hating. What else can I say? It's more than hating. I don't mind if I can have a house 50 kilometers from where I am now, as long as I own a house, a decent home.